This was shot in one room. One friggin' room. Hello everyone, thank you for joining me. I want to first off apologize that this video is 3 days late. Usually I like to post movie reviews on Monday rather than on Thursday. I'm 3 days late and that's on me. But this is a special that really hit me and I really want to talk about this and take my time, and I wanted to take a couple days, kind of get my thoughts together. Although to be completely honest, I don't think my thoughts are going to be that much more together. There are tons of video essays that have come out in the past week about this special that are going to be much more elegant and eloquent than what I have to say, but I still want to make a comment on it because it is something that I found really, really special and I really enjoyed it. Also, let me know if you like this setting. This is a little bit of a different setting. Trying out some different sound, trying to see how this works. Let me know if it sounds better, if it sounds worse, if I'm doing this right, if I'm doing this wrong. I don't really know. So Bo Burnham Inside is a new comedy special from Bo Burnham. He wrote it, directed it, produced it, edited it, and of course stars in it. And this was made entirely in his guest house by himself during the COVID-19 pandemic. This is something that when I heard about, I thought, oh my god, if any comedian is going to talk right now about the pandemic or make comedy at a time like this, and that's also a song in the special, so there you go. The two that I had in mind were Bo Burnham and Larry David. Bo Burnham has a very specific and very interesting way that he can make comedy. He doesn't directly talk about his personal feelings. What he does is he does it through a song or through a character or through something else. That's what I've always liked. So hearing that Bo Burnham was returning to comedy after quitting it 5 years ago and making it all by himself, I was very excited. He's been super funny in all of his specials, whether it's What or Make Happy, and the choices that he makes on TV shows like Zach Stone is going to be famous, or in movies like Promising Young Woman and directing 8th Grade. He's very intelligent, he cares about important issues, and he does a really good job talking about them. I want to touch on 8th Grade really quickly before we get into Inside. I really like the movie 8th Grade. I think it's a really phenomenal coming of age story, especially one that talks about technology, and it talks about the way that some people can be really shy despite seeming like they're something else entirely. For example, Elsie Fisher's character in 8th Grade is a YouTuber who makes videos about being confident while she's incredibly shy herself. I really like that contrast between being shy and being this outwardly charismatic person, and I feel like a lot of that comes from Bo Burnham himself. He's talked a lot about having anxiety and having severe panic attacks on stage. He mentions it in this special as well, and I'm glad to see him return to comedy despite the fact that this was a difficult time for him, but also, it's just good to see somebody who is genuinely being totally transparent and honest about how they feel when they are making comedy, while also still trying to make people laugh and still going through with doing something that they love. I think it's incredibly inspiring, and I'm just happy that Bo Burnham is still making content. As for Bo Burnham Inside, I absolutely love this special. I think it's hilarious, but I also think it's one of the most insightful and entertaining pieces I've seen in a long time. It's also one of the most emotional, and this is very heavy, so I will give a fair warning that if you are going through a tough time, maybe wait to see this one, but definitely check it out at some point in your life. Now, I'm going to talk more specifically about things that I like. I think what I really enjoyed about this is that you kind of are seeing two sides of Bo Burnham in this. Like I said earlier, he's a very outwardly charismatic person who is kind of dealing with anxiety himself. So I like that you see him in one scene singing confidently and dancing and kind of parodying like an 80s music video, while in the next scene you see him setting up the camera and getting frustrated by the fact that it's not working. Again, going back to transparency, I like that he's always transparent and you're seeing this side of him. You're seeing the fact that he's kind of doing this, even though it is something that has been edited and something that has been, perfected in his eyes. Hoping to just nudge that. My bad. Sorry. By showing that, it kind of shows the reason why a lot of people are making comedy. Comedy is a defense mechanism. It's something that people use to make themselves feel more comfortable in uncomfortable situations. And I think a lot of that happens in Bo Burnham's comedy. I think he talks about very serious issues that a lot of comedians might not even touch with a 10-foot pole, but because he is doing it in the way that is allowing you to kind of laugh with it and kind of has a little bit of distance from it being like a very personal thing, I really enjoy that, and I've always found that effective, as it doesn't make it so difficult to talk about. It kind of makes you laugh and kind of gets you on board with hearing out what people have to say. I think a lot of things are a lot easier to digest when there's some comedy involved with it too. Going back to Promising Young Woman, it was my favorite movie of last year because there was a ton of funny moments in that movie that made talking about the very serious and very dirty subject matter a little bit easier. I've always appreciated that, and I think Bo Burnham does a fantastic job with it. That being said, the second half of this movie definitely takes a turn and becomes a lot more serious. We start talking about Bo Burnham going through a very difficult time in his life, and I appreciated seeing Bo Burnham show himself lying in bed and being upset and being sad. He's talking about feeling down. He's talking about feeling like he might be at an all-time low. He's talking about being incredibly anxious and upset and feeling isolated, which I think, again, a lot of people can relate to. And the fact that he was able to create something that was so insightful and so funny and so entertaining and so moving at a time like that in his life is just really inspiring. I also just want to touch on a couple of my favorite songs in this special. He has one about a white woman's Instagram, about FaceTiming his mom, and those are really, really hilarious. On the other hand, he also has really heavy songs too. One is Hands Up, Eyes on Me, which I've listened to like 10 times since watching this special, and I've cried at least 8. So, you know, it's it's heavy for sure, but it's very, very rewarding to watch. And I think that anybody who made it through 2020 will be able to watch this movie and get something out of it, understanding that, hey, you know what? If he could make this in the worst of times, I can at least do something good. Part of me doesn't really want to rate this movie because I think it kind of stands on its own and it's kind of its own thing. But if I absolutely had to give it a rating, I would give it a 10 out of 10. I think that this is a phenomenal piece of art. I think it's very, very moving, very, very touching, and it's the kind of thing that we need right now. So I'm very glad that Bo Burnham made this, and I hope that he does more projects like this in the future. I hope he can make more movies because the guy's got an eye for shots. The shots in this movie are phenomenal. If you want to hear more thoughts on this, go check out Greg Kondrak's video. It's a fantastic video. The link will be in the description down below. He's talking a lot about the filmmaking aspect of it, which is something I really appreciated. I definitely felt incredibly inspired watching this film to go out and make something. Also, as Bo Burnham's inside is talking about mental health, I do want to also say, if you or anyone you know is dealing with depression or anxiety, I just want you to know that you're not alone. In the description below, I'll attach some hotlines that can connect you with a professional if you ever want to talk to anybody. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you like this format, if this is something that you enjoyed. I think I might start doing a couple things like this a little bit more where I'm kind of talking to you a little bit more directly. But anyway, have you seen Bo Burnham's Inside? Are you planning on watching it? What did you think? Let me know down in the comments below. Hit the like button, comment, subscribe, share this with your friends, and as always, stay groovy, watch a comedy special.